Well, we're the GaZcast, but like it's just Gabe and Zach on a cast. We just like a cast of characters.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to the GaZcast. It's your boy, Gabe, young Zach on the other side. Zach, what's been good, buddy?
Just watching T.Y. Hilton interviews just constantly, man. I don't know.
T.Y. Hilton, that man talks.
You know, he does. He gets brought on the Pat McAfee show. Probably the only time you'll ever see him do anything. And he's talking some MMA, so got me a little excited for this weekend. But
Dude,
how
this
about you, man?
weekend is gonna be insane. Yes, same, dude. I'm so busy. So tonight I work. This weekend we're gonna be watching some fights. Sunday, I don't know what the heck is gonna go on Sunday. I don't know if I'll be in work or whatnot, but man, just busy, just grinding, man. Grinding.
Okay.
Grind don't stop, baby. But yeah, Ty, did he have like some thoughts on the fight for this weekend? The fights for this weekend?
Well, I mean, he was going Masvidal just because like they're from Florida and shit. So he reps with them. He said a couple other things. Is there a guy named Rose or Rolls fighting? Whatever his name is.
It's a chick, Rose.
There you go.
Nama Eunice.
Is that it? Is that who went?
Yeah.
Maybe he went. Maybe he went her. Who knows? He was saying some shit, but I was excited that T.Y. Hilton was just talking about anything other than like running a route, and I was like, that's dope. I like to see personality from guys who you see personality on the field and on the court from some guys, but you're like, all right, that guy's not the big interview guy. That guy's not this, but like everyone has some kind of personality. They just like need to be brought out in a certain way. I just like seeing that. Like when Kawhi Leonard does something other than laugh, it's like, all right, cool. Like this dude's a human, not a robot.
Definitely. But yeah, no, we'll get started with some UFC. So the main card for Saturday, just a quick run through. Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute, Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman, Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade.
He went.
Wally.
Ty went Valentino on that one. I did hear that. Okay.
Yeah, no, she's nice. She like 20-3 record. That's for the women's flyweight title. The co-main will be Wally Zhang versus Rose Namajunas, and the main event, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. Now, have you seen any of these people fight?
I have seen Usman fight. I remember that, and that's it. To be honest,
have you seen the Masvidal knee to Ben Askren?
I have seen the clip, the 8-second clip, but
that's the fight.
Again,
no, that's not a clip. That's the fight.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. I can't see that clip and be like, all right, this guy's a shit because I saw what happened to Ben Askren with Jake Paul. So we're not going to give that video the credibility it deserves right now, but hey, it looked nice.
I promise it was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'll start at the bottom. So Anthony Smith, Jimmy Crute, haven't seen those guys fight. I have seen Uriah Hall fight and Chris Weidman. For those of you who do not know, I'm sure a lot of you are at least familiar with the name Anderson Silva. This guy is one of the GOATs. He's probably on the Mount Rushmore of UFC fighters. I mean, whenever he was going through his run, I think he went double digits fights before he lost. Matter of fact, I think he was undefeated before he fought Chris Weidman. Now, Anderson Silva was a showman in the octagon. I mean, he was just like dodging punches like he was in the Matrix. So he did that with Chris Weidman, and he started he was actually, kind of teeing off on Chris Weidman, and then he started trying to like show off, and then Chris Weidman clipped him, and then he kind of lost his balance, and then Chris Weidman just finished him off. So rematch. Weidman versus Anderson Silva. That's whenever he lost his belt. He was trying to go for the belt again. And what happened was, if you are familiar with Anderson Silva went for a leg kick. Weidman checked it, snapped his shin in half. It was one of the worst injuries that I've ever seen in my life. I think that was like maybe right before Kevin Ware. But it was like that. It was gross. And ever since then, Anderson Silva has never been the same. So Weidman, 15 15-5. He's going against Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall he's an okay fighter. I'm trying to remember his last fight. I think he fought maybe Izzy on the way up, Stylebender. I'm not really sure. But in this fight, my prediction, I think I might go with Weidman in this one. I think I'm feeling Weidman.
Okay. I'm potentially riding you with on Weidman because I don't know. His name's Weidman. He's a wide man. Beat Anderson Silva. I'm just gonna go based off the strict looks. Jimmy Crute, whoever the hell this dude is gonna win the fight. I don't care if he's favored. I don't care if he's the underdog. Jimmy fucking Crute for the win. That's a lock of the century. I don't know why, but it's a lock. Have you seen this dude?
Dude, he is kind of, man, a little thick around the neck. Man, got some shoulders.
Yeah. He got the tattoos in the right spots just to be that guy.
Yeah. So for the women's fights, the Valentina Shevchenko, she's a beast. I haven't seen Jessica fight, so I guess I'll go with what I know. I'll go with Valentina. Now for this strawweight fight, I have seen Rose fight and I have seen Zhang fight. Rose, she's 10-4. Zhang is 21-1. I think she lost her first fight by decision. I think she's like 5-0 in the UFC. Now, her last fight, this was absolutely insane. I forget who the main card was, but I was watching for whoever the main card was. That might have been another Stylebender fight, but she fought against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That's her name. And I'm gonna put the pictures up on the video of this. Zach, go look at the pictures of Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Just look up Wally Zhang versus Joanna. It's Joanna. Look at both their faces.
Wally Zhang, and what's the other person's name?
Her name is Joanna. Joanna. It should come up. But it went 5 rounds, and these ladies were just teeing off on each other, just throwing hammers, and neither girl went down. It was absolutely nuts. Both of their faces were inflated. Joanna's forehead looked like the Frankenstein monster. It was insane.
Yeah. So whoever this Joanna girl is, she's not okay. Some people don't need plastic surgery. I would argue most people don't need plastic surgery. But you see that and you're thinking, well, what happened? What went wrong? That'll see that face, that'll deter you from, like, I'm talking, if someone looks you wrong in the bar, you probably should walk out, because if that has the potential of happening, you walk away ASAP. Rocky, get out of there.
I mean, no, a lot of the picture that supposedly Aaron Donald did to that guy. Obviously, we saw that he did do it. This is way worse. Way worse. Her whole forehead inflated like ×3.
Yeah.
And she's a pretty girl,
like
not that.
It looks like a really bad filter. Like a really bad filter. Like you were on Snapchat and you scrolled way too many times to right, and it was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like her face looks reversed, twist. That shit's bad.
Yeah. And so we got Zhang versus Rose. Rose, like I said, she's a beast too. I think I'm gonna roll with Zhang though, because she can take some punches and she can throw them back. So I think I'm rolling with Rose in this fight.
Strictly because
while in Zhang, I'm rolling with Zhang.
You're going Zhang. I'm going with Rose because, I mean, if T.Y. Hilton says it, it's happening. Like, I don't care about anything that has to do with the fight. I don't care where it doesn't matter. She did that. Rose all the way.
Yeah. And that's the co-main, and for the main event, we got Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. Now, Usman, the fights that I've seen him fight, I think the first time I ever saw him fight, he was going against Tyron Woodley. At this time, Tyron Woodley was the champion. Usman went in there and dominated Tyron Woodley. I know that we've seen Tyron Woodley in like his last couple of fights, and he has not looked good. Well,
Look very
this was
questionable.
the fight. This was the fight that was basically, and you know how I said Weidman finished Silva, and then he was never the same. Well, basically, Usman finished Tyron Woodley, and he was never the same. He just dominated him on the ground and then just beat the crap out of him. People say Usman is a boring fighter, but it's just because he's like, if you ever seen a Khabib fight where he just grabs a guy and gets a hold of him and there's nothing really that the other guy can do, that's what Usman does to guys. Now, going against Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal is what?
Is that like, does he fight kind of similar to Islam, whatever his last name is?
I
watched.
He's a wrestler, but yeah, kind of.
I watched him fight, and I was like he clearly won the fight. It was the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. I was like I know who won. I saw it happen, and I was just like, I could have took a nap in the house. So hopefully this fight ain't like that.
Well, I don't think it is going to be like that because Masvidal is a guy that throws hands. We saw he has the fastest knockout in UFC history against Ben Askren, as we said, with that flying knee. So he is going to be strategizing versus Kamaru Usman. Now, these guys have fought before. That was actually both of their last fights. Usman took the fight on 6 days' notice. And I'm sorry, not Usman. Masvidal took the fight on 6 days' notice. I think Usman was supposed to fight Colby Covington, I believe, and maybe backed out. That was before Usman broke his jaw in the next fight that they had. But Masvidal, in that fight, it went 5 rounds. Usman couldn't get a hold of him and keep him down like he would usually do a guy. Usman did win that fight, but usually you see Usman dominating guys. He didn't dominate Masvidal, and this was on a 6-day notice. So Masvidal has a full fight camp. Usman has a full fight camp, and I'm excited to see this fight. Now, honestly, my heart with no. My heart wants Masvidal. My brain says Usman. My heart wants Masvidal, but I will say this: Chael Sonnen, he is a former UFC champion, and he has the worst record of all time in calling fights. And he said Kamaru Usman. So Masvidal's going to win this fight. Put your money on it. Put your money on it.
Let's go. Hey, Miami boy, let's win this. Let's win this for America. We need this right now. This.
So yeah, I think, like I said, if Chael Sonnen, I am actually dead serious about this. If Chael Sonnen tells somebody is going to win, put your money on red. If he said black, put your money on red.
Right.
And it's a sure hit. So yeah, I think Masvidal is gonna win this fight. So that is going to happen tomorrow night. I believe the main card starts at 9 p.m. That'd be like Central Time, our time. Super duper excited. Zebo, we getting some brews?
When tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's not act like you're drinking over here brews, Mr. Strawberry guy. But yeah, let's get some drinks flowing. I don't know where we're watching it, but we're gonna be watching it. We gonna be a little what's the term? A little sloshed. All right, I do want to see who did Ariel Helwani make any predictions on this?
I'm not sure
because if he picked Usman, I might throw $1 billion on Masvidal. So this is we'll see. I'll look at that later.
Yeah, no, Usman is no doubt a beast. I mean, I've seen him dominate fights like not many others. I mean, it's only a handful of guys that have just gone in and just basically dominated every fight. He's one of those guys. But Masvidal, being that he performed so well on such short notice, he's getting a full fight camp. I think I can safely roll with Masvidal. So I'm excited.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'm hyped for this fight. I've been hyped for a little bit, but this is I'm ready for this.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, I know another thing that you were hyped for. Your boy AD is back finally after what, 3 months? His man been sitting at home trimming the eyebrows, not trimming the eyebrows, combing it. Yes, I don't know. Like that's what
bro's been missing. Bro's been missing 35 games. 35 games this year. I don't know where he's been. We've been extra freaking cautious. He plays 17 minutes for us. He looks healthy. I'm not going to say he looked good. He looked rusty. He looked a little out of shape, all that stuff.
Looks low.
That's expected. He looked athletic to me. He looked like Anthony Davis to me. I watched it. I said, you know what? He didn't look anything, looks nothing unhealthy wise. I said, I'm hyped for it. If we get those two guys back, I'm sorry, no one's beating us. Like, no one's beating us. I don't want to hear about the Nets. They have their own injury issues. I don't want to hear about any other team. It's the Lakers. It's the Lake Show. Brown Show. Call him King Bryant. Like, it's done.
Nah, dude. I think that I think AD looked a little slow. He hit like one step back. It was kind of slow. I guess it was in rhythm. I mean, it was all net. I mean, dude has a jumper. But I'm not sure if he's ready yet. How many more games do we have until the playoffs?
We have like 15 more games. So yeah,
okay.
I do think AD would take some time, but that's why he's back right now. I looked at this and they said, we're gonna be as cautious as we possibly can. We're also not gonna like throw AD in a situation where he's got to play 1 week of basketball, then it's playoffs. Like LeBron, they're gonna be whenever he's good, go for it. Like he's waiting because he can get ready in 3 days. But AD for me after it's freaking the Achilles, which is like the scariest injury, they're like, hey, chill until 15 games left. This is the plan. You can play for 10 games. If you need to sit out a couple games here and there, go for it. But just like be ready for playoffs and be in rhythm for playoffs because right now it's looking like we're going to play the Nuggets. Now, a lot can change, but we need AD in a series versus Jokic. Like there has to be a big men battle. We have to make Jokic work. And something to think about, I know we didn't look great with AD on the court, but we were ginormous. The way we beat the Nuggets last year was we had Dwight Howard and AD on the court or AD and JaVale on the court. We got Drummond. I think Drummond's better than both those guys. So you're looking at AD and Drummond being on the same court. Yes, it might be a different feel. Drummond's not a great scorer. Drummond's not great at anything but rebounding, really. But he's shown he can play with bigs, and I think it can work.
Yeah. I remember whenever Anthony Davis and LeBron both went down, or specifically Anthony Davis, excuse me. I posed the question to you, which Lakers team was better? The Lakers team without AD, the Lakers team now without AD, or the Lakers team before AD came, the one that had Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, etc. I said that I thought that this team was better then. I'm not really sure how people had questions of that, but what is your analysis of that since we've seen just a handful of games or more than a handful of games without AD and we've seen them without Bron? And you remember without Bron, they sunk like a rock.
Okay. So there's a lot of ways to look at this. I do agree. I think this team is better. I think this team is more of a team. I think this team fits better. But Brandon Ingram, like I was always on the Brandon Ingram camp. And I love Lonzo Ball. I love Kyle Kuzma. So like I'm sitting there, all right, I like these guys more. I think they have more upside. But if you're saying, hey, play 25 games without a superstar, clearly it's this team. This team has more chemistry. This team seems to play better together. Dennis Schroeder is a stud. But he knows where to pick his spots. He knows how to play point guard and shooting guard at the same time for us. And KCP wasn't hitting shots. He finally hit shots last night. He seems to be back recently. But the team plays better together. But Brandon Ingram, he was a budding superstar on this team, and he was just having to take a backseat. And if you remember, Christmas Day was when LeBron got hurt. They came back. It was a tie ball game. Everyone else beside LeBron won that game by 30 by going crazy in the third and fourth quarter. This team had insane talent. And yes, we fell. We fell a lot, but LeBron didn't try to get back. it was a weird situation. 3 of those guys were about to get traded. Like it's a different situation.
Okay, fair point. Yeah, they did know that Daddy LeBron was about to trade them to a different team, so the morale was probably not as high. But
Yeah, it's
no,
like
I think I
hey,
definitely
play your
would
ass
this
off.
team.
Hey, play your ass off. You're gonna be traded. Don't play your ass off. Maybe you're not worth that much, and you can stay and live in LA and play with LeBron James. Because like they weren't gonna give up Ingram if he didn't have value. They weren't gonna give up Lonzo if he didn't have value. You know, like
Yeah. All right, so yeah, if they do happen to see the Nuggets now, they still will have to be very careful with the AD injury. We know who's dealing with the Achilles. Kevin Durant, he tore his Achilles years ago in the NBA Finals, missed the entire year, and then he's come back and he's basically missed half this season so far. I mean, he's dealing with like ticky tack little injuries here and there. Anthony Davis didn't tear his Achilles, thank God. Hopefully, he doesn't tear his Achilles or have any other injuries. But
yeah.
he did have like some soreness. They've been monitoring that issue. If he does have trouble and you guys have to face the Nuggets without AD, not saying that he tears his Achilles, just saying that maybe it's hurting a little bit. They choose to like put him off, kind of like the Warriors did KD in the 2019 playoff. Would y'all be able to get past the Nuggets without Anthony Davis?
Are we talking fully healthy Bron?
Fully healthy, bro. I'll give you fully healthy, bro.
If we get LeBron James back, and for some reason AD is not there. Like there's a situation where it's like AD tweaked something. Like let's say he tweaked his ankle. Like let's not say he tore his Achilles. I don't want to do that on it. And just to be in general, we need to have like the playoffs on our mind. So he tweaks his ankle. He's going to be out one series. That's against the Nuggets. I do think the Lakers beat the Nuggets without Jamal Murray, us having LeBron James. I think LeBron James is better than Jokic. And I think our role players are enough with their guys to where we actually have good chemistry together. And I mean, yes, the Nuggets are still competing and playing in games, but this is regular season. Without Jamal Murray and Jokic on the same court in the playoffs, I don't trust them. Not saying it wouldn't be a tough series, but I would take the Lakers unless you were saying AD is done for the season. If AD's done for the season, I don't think we like are going that hard. I don't think we're going to be like working for a championship. So then maybe something else could happen. But if AD's out for a series, Bron's there, I'll still take the Lakers over the Nuggets, but I wouldn't take them over a couple other teams.
What are those other teams?
Like no AD, we're not beating the Clippers. And I don't think without AD, I don't think we're beating the Suns. I think we could beat every other team without AD if fully healthy Bron, but we need AD and Bron for those two teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely say the Clippers. I'm not sure about the Suns because if we look at the Suns team, they play fantastic as a team. They have the point guard, Chris Paul. We have a guy who's trying to make his run for the best shooting guard in Devin Booker. I mean, that dude is obviously a bucket and a half. But DeAndre Ayton he's weird because I think that he has potential to be one of the star big men in the league. But with Chris Paul coming, dominating the ball a little bit more, I mean, he's still getting touches, but he's not getting – I don't think that he's getting the low post touches that he would need to develop himself into one of the premier big men of the league. And if he's not able to do that or not have the morale to say, hey, I'm just playing my role, we're going to go for this, whatever he needs to do, I'm not sure if they would be able to win against a team with a great big man, say a Jokic or an Anthony Davis, or even a Rudy Gobert. I mean, Rudy Gobert might be able to shut him down. I mean, in the paint, Rudy Gobert is a beast.
Okay, so the question was, could the Lakers? So is Drummond deterring Ayton from being what he is? Here's the thing about Ayton. Ayton started this season with so much expectations. It was, hey, Chris Paul's coming. And everyone thought, hey, D-Book will be better. And Ayton's going to be tremendously better with Chris Paul. and it's taken a while. And Ayton started off slow. He was bad. Like it was. I drafted him in fantasy basketball thinking this dude's gonna be a sleeper. Like he's gonna be a stud in the making. The writing was on the wall. Starts off terrible. He's been good lately. Like you're looking at games where he's shooting 50%, he's shooting 90%, he's shooting 80%, he's shooting 70%. I mean, listen to this, okay? 10 of 14, 9 of 16, 9 of 11, 7 of 10, 9 of 13, 8 of 10, 10 of 11. It's an 8-game stretch.
And that's
Going
not
crazy.
from the free throw line?
This is from the field goal. Like this dude from game 55. Yeah. So a 7-game stretch. No game shooting under 60%.
That's insane.
One game, like it's been back. Yes, I know there's been a lot of inconsistencies. There's been like 2 of these stretches where he's been really good. And I'm not saying he's going to be great in the playoffs, but I just look at the Suns. I see the Jazz. I see the Trailblazers. I like the Suns over most of those teams. Like I think it's Lakers, Clippers, Suns. That's how I view the West. And then there's a drop off. I think the Jazz, I think the Mavs, I think the Trailblazers have chances, but I don't think anyone else has a chance. And I think there's a clear like 2 tiers right there.
I think you putting some disrespect on the Jazz, man.
I don't think I am.
Think that the Jazz,
I don't think I am.
The Jazz are gonna be good. They're gonna be real good in this playoffs. I think that whoever gets the A seed after this play-in, they'll be able to take care of business against them.
Okay.
And then in the second round,
that.
who would they play? What seed would they play?
You say this. The Lakers. They would
play this. Lakers, yeah.
You say this. Let's say the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies beat the Mavericks in the first playing game. The Mavericks beat the Warriors. Okay? Let's say the Dallas, who's tied with the Trailblazers, they pass Portland. In a 1 game, John Morant goes crazy, beats Portland, and then Dame beats Steph. So the Portland Trailblazers with Damian Lillard, or the Mavericks with Luka and possibly KP, who hurt his ankle last night. That's something else to talk about. One of those 2 guys, you're saying the Jazz, you're just going to beat those teams? Like 100%.
Dude, against Portland, maybe it just depends on how Dame is playing, because even we've seen Utah be able to weather storms against guys that put up huge numbers. We saw that last year.
Did we?
But, man, they're so good. They
couldn't guard
as a
Jamal Murray
team.
last year.
Yeah, they couldn't guard him, but they went 7 games. They went Mike Conley dang near half-court heave that rimmed out from winning that series.
Did he
barely lost. Okay. They barely lost.
I thought Mike Conley was clutch. He used to be clutch, didn't he?
Mike Conley he's been playing tremendously better this year. Jordan Clarkson, probably 6th man of the year. Joe Ingles, he's knocking down shots. Bogdanovich, he's doing his thing.
Who they didn't have. That is something.
Exactly.
That's the one thing I'll give it where it's like this team is different and Jordan Clarkson clearly playing different. Go on.
Yeah. And obviously Donovan Mitchell doing his thing. Excellent coaching. Quinn Snyder, I think that he should have won a couple of coaches of the year in the past. I mean, they usually always give it to the team who has the best record. They give it to their coach or a team that faced a bunch of adversity. But there's been a bunch of times where Utah has been basically counted out. They've had the number 1 seed the entire year this year. I think that he should win. Well, I'm not sure him, Thibodeau, or maybe his son's coach. Name is escaping me. One of those
Monty Williams.
Monty Williams. One of those 3 should win coach of the year. Maybe, yeah. It's an argument for one of those 3. Either way you go, I wouldn't be upset. But yeah, dude, the Jazz are an awesome team. They have a great defensive stopper in the paint for Rudy Gobert. I mean, if you drag him out, which Anthony Davis can do that, Jokic can do that, but what other teams would be able to drag him out? Kristaps? Porzingis isn't going to be healthy during the playoffs. It's just a fact of reality. He doesn't stay healthy. So I think that they could lose handily, possibly to the Lakers, or to the Nuggets. But past that, Rudy Gobert is not going to be a detriment. He's going to be a plus on defense at least, and he'll catch some lobs and whatnot. So I think that they'll be pretty good. If they can get past the Lakers, dude, I think they can beat anybody, honestly.
Okay, I mean, if they can get past the defending champs, sure, like go for it. But that's the biggest if I've ever heard in my life. We're talking injuries. Donovan Mitchell just got hurt. Jordan Clarkson, like this dude's not play. I love the dude, but like playoffs, I don't know. Rudy Gobert in the playoffs, I don't know. Joe Ingles in the playoffs, I don't know. Like these guys hitting a bunch of threes sounds nice, but we saw what happened to that Rockets. 27 straight missed threes. They couldn't figure it out. And that's with a guy like James Harden. Donovan Mitchell, he's done amazing in the playoffs. But if you remember that game 7, that first half was awful. I mean, like he has a decent first half. We're probably not talking about the Nuggets we are. The Nuggets went crazy after that point. But it was not because they said we want this. Like Utah was like, we're going to start slow. That first half was awful for Donovan Mitchell. He's a very small guard. He's a combo guard. It's tough. Like I've seen Allen Iverson do it. Like as the small dude who's the best guy in the court. We've seen Steph do it some. But it's not usually that way. It's usually a bigger guy, and if we're talking bigger guys, we're talking LeBron, we're talking AD, we're talking Drummond. I don't know. I don't see them touching this. I might even say, yeah, take out AD. We still win that series.
How do you feel about the Suns? You did say that you have Lakers, Suns, Clippers would be at the top of the list.
Lakers, Clippers, Suns.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Suns? The Suns team as like a whole.
Here's the thing. I look at Devin Booker and I see, okay, he's a walking bucket, but he has the perfect sidekick for him. Like I think the underrated thing of that Rockets team was how well Chris Paul adapted to play with James Harden. Like if he hadn't got hurt, we're talking about something different, but he seems to be a guy who can play with guards and works perfectly. Then you say, okay, Ayton, up and coming. You got shooters all around him. And they got a guy. They got this dude named Jay Crowder who no one talked about the Heat losing. Like the Heat lost him and they've suffered. The ultimate 3-and-D guy. He played great in the playoffs, played great in the regular season. They picked him up and it went unnoticed. He fits team perfect. He hits big shots. He knows when to play. So when you have like that veteran leadership on a team with like an up-and-coming superstar, and apparently Chris Paul is 28. Like I don't know what happened to him. I thought he was done 5 years ago. He's still here. Who the fuck knows what's happening with that? But I like him a lot. Like I really do. Like as a Lakers fan, I'm supposed to hate the Suns. I kind of like the Suns rivalry. Like we don't have rivalries besides the Celtics, and that's just a bunch of young kids now, so it's just a whole different situation. But I like the Suns, man.
Who do you see? If not, let's look at the bottom of the West. So Mavericks 7, Grizzlies 8, Spurs 9, Warriors 10. Do you think the Pelicans, who are, I believe, 3 games back from the 10 spot, do you think that they get it?
I don't think so. I don't know what the remaining schedule is. The way they're so inconsistent. There's just rumblings about them not liking Stan Van Gundy. I just don't see it. We've been searching for this team to make playoffs. They made a bubble specifically for the Pelicans, and they couldn't get it done. Like it's just not going to happen. I don't know what needs to change. For some reason, that team is too talented, and they can't make it. Like you look at the Spurs team and look at the Pelicans team, and tell me which one of those is in the playoffs. It doesn't make any sense. So I can't with that.
I'm gonna do. I just did my Eastern Conference team write-offs. I'm gonna do the West. There are more teams in the West to just write off than teams in the East. But I might creep up to the 11th spot because it is not looking too good for the Pelicans.
Yeah, I think it's just the 10 teams that are in right now are the only 10 teams that have a chance. Like, I know that sounds stupid to leave out the guys, but like at this point, the Spurs are trying to make the playoffs. I don't know why. They seem to be trying, and they seem to be winning all the games they need to make it. Like, I know we don't want to see them in the playoffs, and I don't think they have a chance in the play-in game, but they're going to be there. I don't know why, but they are.
Dude, so I think it's they don't have it. I think it's 7 versus 8 and then 8. No, yeah, 7 versus 8 and then 9 versus 10.
Yeah, it's not 9 versus 10, 7 versus 8. The loser of 7-8 plays the winner of 9-10, and then the guy who wins the 7-8 is automatically in.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have Grizz. It's gonna be Grizz and Mavericks, and in a one game, I'm gonna take the Grizzlies. I think I am. Like, I think the Grizzlies win that game. I don't. Luka had to make the dumbest shot for them to win that game. Grayson Allen had to miss 2 free throws, shooting at a 91% clip. I see it happening that way. And then you're going to see the Warriors play the Dallas Mavericks, which anything can happen. I'm assuming the Dallas is going to win that game, but anything can happen.
Do you see the potential? What is the highest potential upset in the West you see? Do you think?
I mean, I think the number 1 seed Jazz can lose first round. I just painted a picture where the Mavericks get the 8 seed. I could paint the same picture where the Trailblazers get the 8 seed. I could point the picture where the Lakers get the 8 seed. So you're telling me there's 3 of the 5 teams that are like potentially in that spot, I think would be favored? Come on.
I think that the Lakers, if they fall to 8, they could win. The Trailblazers have a chance to win. Mavericks, no chance against the Jazz. Matter of fact, I would go to say 6-game series. It doesn't even make it 7. No chance.
Okay.
No chance.
You said no chance, and then you said chance. 6. You said 6 games. That's not a no chance series.
All right. What do people say about Jordan and his finals record? He never played a game 7.
He never played a game 7.
Exactly.
That's fine.
That's chance.
Fine.
They
he never let it get that far. He never let it get that far. But winning in game 6 in a first round 1-8 is not a blowout, man. Come on. Literally, it's a sweep or a gentleman's sweep.
Too.
We said they have no chance. You're telling me if they get to game 6, which would be in Dallas, you're telling me there's no chance that the ball bounces right for them?
Being that if you know anything about NBA refs and their history with the Mavericks, it seems that some particular refs don't like the Mavericks. So that would be one thing going against them. KP, always injured. Luka could have a bad shooting night, or guys around him could have a bad shooting night. Now, the reason why I give them 2 games is because I think Luka is so good. But other than that, if Luka wasn't as great as I think that he is, which he hasn't been shooting the greatest, but he does so many things on the court. It's absolutely insane. It's impossible to just look at the stats, just tell the story of Luka Doncic, even though his stats are crazy. If he was not who he is, I don't think I'd give the Mavs a game. But he is who he is. But no. Okay. I think they make it as far as 6.
All right. So the Atlanta Hawks team from 2016. Does it not remind you of this Utah Jazz team?
No, it's different.
Why do you say that?
Let's think about the Atlanta Hawks. So they had Al Horford, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Korver, and who was their other all-star?
They had Paul Millsap, didn't they?
Paul Millsap. Which guy on that
Josh
team
Smith
is better
too?
than – No, Josh Smith was gone. He was on, the Clippers or the Rockets, one of those 2 teams. Who on that team is better than Donovan Mitchell? Nobody. Who on that team is better than what Rudy Gobert provides? Not saying that Al Horford isn't better than him all around, but what Rudy Gobert provides. who on that team is better than him? I think he'd be the second
Who's
best.
better?
He'd be the second pick.
Are you asking who's better than Rudy Gobert on that Hawks team?
Yeah.
Al Horford? Paul Millsap?
No, absolutely
Yes.
not. Rudy Gobert, he is a monster on the inside. I think he gets about 2-3 blocks per game, but he alters every shot. Every shot that is a layup and or dunk, that gun is altered. I think teams shoot like 40% in the paint on him.
Hey, they're Utah is a crazy 3-point shooting team. Who on that team can shoot like Kyle Korver?
They can't shoot as good, but they can hit dang near as good. Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson.
Okay.
No, Utah is definitely a better team than that fraudulent Hawks team. Plus, they were playing in a weak East. I know that's the excuse every year for the East, but God dang it. I mean, if you look at it throughout history, it's kind of true, except for the 90s.
Here's what I'll say. Donovan Mitchell got hurt. What was that, 2 games ago?
Yeah, it was probably less. It was less than a week ago, I believe.
Before that, what were their injuries? What were their injuries? Okay, so yes, they are the best team in the West. The number 2 seed, Chris Paul missed games and D Book missed games. Okay, the number 3 seed, Kawhi and Paul George have missed a bunch of games. The number 4 seed, Jamal Murray out for the season. The 5 seed, AD has missed 35 games. LeBron's missed 15. The 6 seed, Dame's been out. CJ was out half the year. The 7 seed, Kristaps hadn't played any games. Luka's missed some games. The 8 seed, Jaren Jackson Jr.
played one game.
He played his first game yesterday. So, yes, they hit it, and they played in a COVID season where they were playing on back-to-backs. And a bunch of their games, they're playing against unhealthy teams. And the East, the bottom of the East still sucks. The bottom of the West still sucks. They won all the games they needed to. But there's got to be a little bit that's like, all right, well, this team missed a bunch of games. The Suns are only 2 games back. The Clippers aren't too far back. So, yes, they've been leading the whole way. But the Lakers weren't there. The Lakers weren't fully healthy. I don't think the Lakers being fully healthy, this Jazz team is the 1 seed. And if they're not the 1 seed, we're looking at a 2 seed, and they're competing with the Suns. I just think we're viewing them a little different because of the season.
You know what? That is a valid point. Everybody has been playing against hurt teams, though, this year. It's absolutely – it's been insane. Yeah,
but tell me, Damian Lillard and CJ, those dudes have missed, CJ missed 15, 20 games, and Dame's missed 10, 15 games?
The season, dang near.
Okay.
Dame hasn't missed as many. Dame has missed probably, I'd say, in between 3 to 5, 7 at most.
Okay. Donovan Mitchell misses 7 games, and Rudy Gobert misses half the season. Where are the Jazz? Where are they at?
I don't know. Probably near the bottom of the playoff bracket.
They're the Grizzlies.
Yeah. Okay.
Why are we giving so much credit to the Grizzlies?
Because they hooping.
Okay. I've been wondering it. Everyone seems to be on the Jazz. They're kind of questionable phase, and then some people like you were just, hey, the Jazz. No. Yeah, great music, not a great basketball team.
All right. Well, let's look at the East. I do want to start with an injured team. Trae Young, he got injured a few days ago. Left ankle sprain, I believe. I think it's like grade 2, so not all the way done, but it definitely an injury to be not played around with. Do you think that the Hawks kind of keep their position? Do you think that they fall out of the playoffs? I think that they are. Let's see, they're 4 games up on the 8th spot. They shouldn't fall out of to the 10th. So I think that they still make the playoffs. If they do indeed make the playoffs at the 4th spot, or at the 5th spot, do you think that they'd be able to beat the Knicks?
No, the Knicks are clearly a better basketball team than the Hawks to me. I know you look at it and you're like, maybe the Hawks team's more talented. I'm not even 100% sure about that, but the way the Knicks play defense and the way the Hawks don't play defense, come on, man. The Knicks are for real. Like they're not gonna beat these great teams, but they're gonna get whoever they play in the second round. It's gonna be a really hard test. It is. I know people are like, oh, the Knicks are back. They might be. The way Julius Randle was playing, hey, shout out to Lakers, make another superstar that we just don't get. But hey, Julius freaking Randle. Hey, I know everyone's been talking about it. NBA first team? Maybe?
Possibly.
Maybe?
I mean, I would definitely have to think through the players. I think his best argument would be that a lot of these forwards haven't played. So AD shouldn't make it first team over him. LeBron probably shouldn't make it first team over him. Kawhi hasn't played a lot of games. Paul George hasn't played a lot of games. So, yeah, I mean, let's see. Would it be him and Giannis for the forward spot and have Embiid at the center? Or Jokic at the
Maybe.
center? One of those two?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean there's an argument for that, in which when the Knicks paid Julius Randle, you're like, all right, they just had to give their money to somebody. Like Julius Randle was a guy who he put up good stats some places, and you were like, it's not really that good. He worked on his jumper, he worked on his game, he's fully bought in, and you were talking about earlier, Tom Thibodeau. Got to give credit. This dude has just been he's been winning games wherever he goes, and people don't tend to like him because he kind of overplays some guys. He plays an old school way of basketball, but it's working in this NBA, which is just something that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been hearing chirps about Julius Randle. People have been saying he's going to get MVP votes. People have been saying as high as, I think they said as high as like third, possibly like fifth. My thing is, they've been having him. Do you think that he's an MVP worthy candidate over Dame? So people have been saying Jokic 1, Embiid 2 because of the injury. If Embiid didn't go out, they would have said Embiid 1. 3, they've been saying like Steph Curry, and then 4 and 5 up in the air. Who would be like your top 5 MVP candidates?
Okay, I for me it's Embiid and Jokic. I think they're in a kind of a class of their own. And then you get into, I mean, what do you like? Because Dame's played more games. His team's higher. Steph, I think, has had a much better season, but his team's lower. People can say Chris Paul. He's got that team at the 2 seed. Here's my thing. Randle, I think you can put Randle at 5. I think you can put him at 6. Just as he's played all the games, he's done everything he needs to do to get MVP votes. But he's not a true, he has no chance of winning. So at that point, it's just vote on who is more of the MVP between him getting more votes than Chris Paul, him getting more votes than Steph. It's okay with me because I know none of those guys are truly going to win. Dame, I find it hard to say, okay, we're going to give it to the team who's, what are they 4th in the East?
In the West, no, the Trailblazers.
The Knicks.
Yeah, they're 4th. And they're 4th.
So the Knicks are the 4th in the East, but there's a clear top 3. Like, it's not like these teams are competing. The Knicks have no chance of being a 3 seed. The Knicks are not anywhere near the 3rd best team in the East. Like, they're just there because you have the Hawks at 5. The East is not great. A lot of these teams just been slipping. So, yes, the Knicks are doing really good, but Dame deserves votes over Randle. So to finish it, I'm gonna go Embiid. I'm gonna go Jokic. I'm gonna say Steph Curry. I'm gonna say Damian Lillard. And then I'm gonna say Giannis. I don't think we can say Julius Randle deserves more votes than Giannis. Come on, don't give me that.
Dude, I'm with it. I think that's exactly how my list would go, except I would switch Jokic and Embiid because of the game factor. Embiid has been terrorizing teams, but Jokic, being that he's played basically, I think, every game, and his stats are insane: 50, 40, 90, dang near 30-point triple double, dang near. You can't really go against. I mean, you can because Embiid has been like putting up monster stats as well. But I go Jokic, Embiid. Third will probably be Giannis for me because I think that just people we're bored with his success. This man has monster numbers across the board. And then probably Steph and then Dame. But I'm not putting Julius Randle over Dame yet. Like
No.
Dame has dealt with CJ being out basically the whole season, Nurkic being out a good chunk of the season. His second best player has been Carmelo Anthony and Enes Kanter.
Yeah. And Gabe, like here's the thing. We were talking about the Portland Trailblazers, and they were like the 3 seed. They were like the 4 seed. They were the 5 seed. They were the 6 seed. They were the 5 seed. They were the 4 seed. This is when Dame kept them afloat without McCollum. When do they go on a losing streak? When do they forget how to play? When are we talking about them slipping to the bottom? Dame got hurt. So, like, you're seeing everything else be on the table, and you take out Dame, and we're like, wait a minute, this team could fall to the 8 seed. So, like, yes, there is a case, oh, this dude missed games. It's not like Dame's missed enough games to be disqualified, but missing a couple games and your team getting worse is not good, but it looks good for your MVP. It tells me, actually, this guy's valuable as fuck.
Facts, dude. I don't think enough respect has been put on Dame's name. So I'm not sure what he would have to do to actually secure the MVP.
Yeah.
Man, like what would that look like? What would it look like for Dame to actually secure the MVP?
The problem, at least this year, is like you're looking at Jokic has a better record than Dame in the same conference with a big injury. And yes, you can argue Jamal Murray's injury came later, but Jokic has all the stats and he's ahead of Dame. I just don't see that him getting a vote over Jokic by practically anybody. But if we're talking in general, I don't think Dame had his best year. I don't think Dame had anywhere near close to his best year. So, like, we've seen how well Dame has played through a 25-game stretch. If he can put that together with a normal season where he goes crazy and then he just has a decent year the rest of the year, and he gets like the 3 seed, like he's always got, like he usually gets the 3 seed, the 4 seed. He's always in the playoffs besides last year, which was a very, very strange year. I think he can get one. Maybe next year or the year after that. Like, I think there's going to be a chance. I know there's going to be a lot more candidates coming in. It's going to be hard, but I think he has the ability to get another one, to get one in the future.
I think that he would have to have probably have to average over 30 points. He'd likely have to have a Steph, a 2016 flyer where he's shooting over 40% from 3, averaging like 30 points. He'll probably have to average like 30 and 8. I think that year Steph averaged 35 and 5 or somewhere around there. So you probably have to average 30 points, 8 assists, shoot over 40% from 3, and have a top 2 seed for him to secure a MVP. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to happen because, like we said, Steph is here, and we see Steph, and we know that they're basically kind of like the same thing. And it's kind of like a Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler type deal. Even though I think in this comparison, Dame is better than Clyde Drexler, even though we didn't get to see Clyde Drexler like growing up. But I think as far as comparison, like Steph to Jordan, Dame to Clyde Drexler, I think that gap is closer than it was like Drexler to Jordan.
And on the Dame to Julius Randle comparison, here's how you can easily say it. This is why. Bradley Beal is having a crazy year. Steph Curry is having a crazy year. Both are going to be plans. One is an MVP candidate. One is nowhere near it. Bradley Beal's nowhere near it because the East is not half as good as the West is.
Yeah, facts. So yeah, no, he doesn't even have a chance, dude. They're barely gonna. Do you think that the Wizards get the 10th spot? They're right. They finally made it to the 10.
In, yeah.
Oh, over the Bulls?
Yeah, they're playing well. I think won like 6 in a row. Everyone was bashing Westbrook. Everyone. This dude stinks from the bubble. Early in the season, this dude's just turning the ball over. He can't shoot. Bro, the same dude who was going crazy with Paul George a couple years ago. If they hadn't got hurt, we're looking at things differently. If he hadn't got hurt in the playoffs right before it started, he would have played a lot better. This dude is a stud. He's not like a top 5 player anymore. He's not a top 8 player anymore, but put him and Bradley Beal on the same team. They got that Gafford dude out here blocking Zion. Like, they got a little team. Bertans finally hitting some shots. I think they win the play-in. I think that's gonna happen.
Wow. Okay. So the Horny Hornets, they're about to get LaMelo Ball back.
Possibly.
If they're in with LaMelo, you think that the Wizards can take it all?
Yeah, here's the thing, Gabe. LaMelo Ball had a great rookie season. I'm taking Westbrook over LaMelo Ball. I'm taking Bradley Beal over the rest of their team. Like, come on.
I don't know. Gordon Hayward's pretty good. Scary Terry, hooping.
I love Scary Terry.
Bridges.
Of course, you can't not like Gordon Hayward. You got to root for him. But I think the Wizards they're good. Like, they're not elite. They're not unbeatable. But they'll throw those 2 guys in the court for like a one night thing. I don't think you win that.
So we see the Celtics at the 6th spot. Any chance that they beat the Brooklyn
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. We're talking about that. I was about to ask where are the Celtics, because like I was saying, like, you know, we got the Knicks at 4 and the Hawks at 5. I'm assuming the Celtics are at 6 and the Heat are at 7.
Yeah.
Is that how it's looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. What if Harden doesn't play? And what if KD doesn't play? If you tell me Harden and KD doesn't play, yes, they can beat the Nets. If one of them plays, no, they're not beating the Nets. Like, there's two of those humans on the same court with good role players. The Celtics they've been messing up playoffs for 3 years in a row. It's been just, I'm like, all right. It's like game 6, game 7. I'm like, how are the Celtics going to lose to this Heat team? They're clearly more talented, but it's not there. It's not there. I know we saw Kemba go crazy last night. Finally, I have been looking for Kemba Walker. I've been searching all the word searches, all the everything. Where has he been? He showed up last night. Congrats. He'll probably show up one game in the playoffs, but no, come on. No chance.
Dude, imagine the ridicule of the Nets losing, say they make the Eastern Conference Finals, and say that Harden is out or KD is out and it just leaves Kyrie, or say that another combination of the 2 players are out and it's just one of the big 3 for that team going against the Sixers, and even throw Embiid out. Imagine the ridicule for that one superstar after losing to an Embiid-less 76ers, which I think that the Sixers would still be a better team. I think with Ben Simmons and then the rest of their team versus the Nets with one of their superstars and the rest of their team, I think that's better.
If that superstar is Kyrie Irving and he plays against Ben Simmons and the Sixers, he will get beat. And it'll be hilarious. It will be hysterical. They'll be like, what happened? What happened? Kyrie Irving's great, but like, throw Ben Simmons on him for a whole series and don't give him any other superstar help. Good luck. The Sixers team is a lot better than people want to admit. I think the Bucks are better than a lot of people want to admit. And we're clouded by this super team, which we should be. It makes sense. But if that team's not fully together, anything can happen. And we were talking about the Celtics. How many games back are the Heat from the Celtics? Because I think the Heat could give the Nets some trouble. I'm maybe not fully healthy, but 2 of those guys, the Heat team, They got an edge. They got Jimmy Butler. They got Bam. Anything's possible.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. I think that the Heat are going to I think that the Heat can upset basically anybody. As long as the Nets are, I'm saying unhealthy Nets. Nets fully healthy, I think they beat everybody. But missing one or two of those guys, I think that the Heat could upset everybody in the East.
Yep. Okay. I just kind of thought of it. Is there any chance we ever get to see like Giannis play with Embiid?
Oh my gosh!
If
like
we
play
saw
with
Giannis
or play against,
play with, I want to see Giannis and Embiid on the same court on the same team besides an All-Star game. I want to see that. Like I'd take off everything else. Like you don't need any other superstars. You need white dudes that are 6'4" that can shoot. You need JJ Redick. You need 3 JJ Redicks and those 2 humans. I want to see it. Lock it in. That would be insane.
That would be nuts. Because Embiid is awesome on the inside. He can kind of defend on the perimeter too, just a little bit. But Giannis is like a dude and a half on defense.
Did you see the video?
Which
video of Drew Holiday like trying to make he was trying like 7 straight moves on Embiid. Embiid's just staying with him. Yeah. He passes the ball up. They pass it in to Drew Holiday. He makes a pump fake, like takes a step, tries like a finger roll. He just bricked it. And like Embiid got the rebound and was like, come on. Like I'm not just a big dude. That dude can move. There's a reason we're comparing him to Hakeem occasionally. Like he's got the footwork. He can play defense. He can play offense. Yeah. But okay, how do you feel about the Bucks? Like, do you think the Bucks can beat like even the Sixers? Let's say the Bucks play the Sixers. I know it's probably not going to happen because the seeding's going to get. I don't know what the hell's going to happen to the seeding, but let's say the Bucks play the Sixers. Like, who are you taking?
The Bucks. This will be Giannis is going to get his. I think Drew Holiday helps a lot. All their series, I believe, will depend after the first one. I think that they'll beat whoever is in. Well, no, because they got some tough competition on the bottom. The Heat and the Celtics would be some tough competition on the bottom. But man, it will be completely dependent upon the role players. If they are hitting shots, there is no way to stop Giannis. No way. Because you're gonna if you can back up off of him, but then he can just get ahead of steam. You're gonna have to throw a guy and a half, 2 guys at Giannis. And if the role players are hitting shots, I don't think that they can lose. Maybe even against the Nets, because the Nets don't have anything on the inside to stop him. He's gonna average 35 against them.
Yeah. No, I'm with that. Like I've been trying hard not to love the Bucks this year just because, like, it's just been so hard to watch them play in the regular season. And then you show up in the playoffs and you're like, this is a different team. But I look at this team and I'm like, I think the Bucks have a higher upside than the Sixers. Like, maybe there's probably a lower chance they get to it. I think the Sixers are really good. They're not great. They're really good. And they're going to be really good. Like, with whatever happens, yes, Danny Green can miss some shots and they can be a little different. But they're beatable, but the Bucks at 80% can compete with them. Now, the problem is the Bucks could be at 40%. The Bucks can be terrible in the playoffs. We've already seen that. So, but like right now, you're telling me Harden is probably going to come back for the playoffs, and I have no clue what the hell is going on with KD. I'll take the Bucks in the East. Like, just right now, I'm not like – that's how I'm feeling. Like, I watched that game versus Giannis was going up against Embiid. He was getting the rebound, driving up and down the court. Embiid was trying to guard him. Giannis pulled up 3 in his face. And I'm just like, okay. Like, he wasn't doing that in the playoffs. Like, this is a big game. It's late in the year. They're still playing. They're kind of playing for the 1 seed, but they seem to be trying out a bunch of lineups. Throw in a guy like PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday, who are like veterans, play defense, play hard, can shoot. I like them.
Coaching hot seat.
Okay.
Celtics versus the Bucks. One of those teams lose. One of those coaches have to get fired. Is it going to be Brad Stevens or is it going to be Budenholzer?
I mean, Budenholzer has – if Budenholzer loses in the first round, he's gone. Like, I don't even know if people are talking about him on the hot seat. I think he's gone. For some reason, I just think the Celtics are going to let Brad Stevens just run this. Like, I don't think they – because at this point, it's already a disappointment. Like, yes, he made one run where they were a lower seed and they had Terry Rozier going crazy, but I don't think anyone's expecting that now. I think it's like, all right, we're the 7th seed. Like, and there's only 6 guaranteed spots. Like, they may lose a spot. And maybe that does it, but like I think they believe in Brad Stevens, and I'm not like gonna doubt that. This team is just made up in a weird way. It's made up with your 2 superstars being wings, and they're not like in their primes yet. Like, yes, Tatum is like amazing and Brown's amazing, but like I think they can get better. I don't think they play perfectly well together. And then Kemba's short. And like it sounds superficial, but when you're like 5'8", 5'9", like it's not gonna work in the playoffs. Like, it's just really not. And their big men suck. So like, yes, they got these 2 crazy talented dudes, but they're not going anywhere. Budenholzer, this dude makes no adjustments. I mean, they're playing in the playoffs. They're like, yeah, we're not going to make any adjustments. We saw what worked against the freaking Orlando Magic. Now we're going to try to do this against the Raptors. Now we're going to do this against the Heat. Clearly, you need to change your views on teams throughout the playoffs. Like, come on, do something. I kind of hope he gets fired. Like, he'll find another job, but I hope he gets fired. Giannis deserves better.
I'm with that. Who do you think you could pair with Giannis to make that team better?
Here's what you do. It's not gonna happen, but you send every single thing you can do. You send Chris Middleton, you send 19 first-round picks, you pick up Steph Curry and play him with Giannis, go for it. Do it, whatever. Go for it.
That would be insane. Oh my gosh.
Hey, what do the Warriors say? Now, I mean, they're gonna say no, but let's do this. We'll give you Drew Holiday. No, actually, we'll keep Drew Holiday. We'll give you Chris Middleton, okay? We'll give you our first-round pick. You have to do every other year, right? So they've already given up like to 2028 with Drew Holiday. We'll give you 2030, 2032, 2034, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, and 60. We'll give you our picks every other year until 2060 for Steph Curry.
They would ship Steph Curry out of there. But
they're gone, and Steph and Giannis are winning a championship, and it might be worth it. Like, we're seeing teams in Wisconsin, the fucking Green Bay Packers won't even draft this dude a receiver. Go all in. You have Giannis, you have Rodgers, you should go all in. Do whatever you can. Obviously, you're not going to give up 30 picks, but anything's possible. I mean, go get Bradley Beal. Like, I know he's not on the trade market. Apparently, anyone is on the trade market if you offer enough. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think that the only reason why the Warriors would be able to take that trade, even with the overhaul, is because they're in a new arena with, the San Francisco money. If they was in Oakland, they burning that joint down, bro. You're not trading Steph in Oakland, bro.
Imagine getting that
No
alert.
matter
Steph
what.
Curry traded. Steph Curry's traded. You'd be like, huh? Seth got traded? Oh, no. Steph. Oh. No chance.
All right. Well, I think that is all we have for you. Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out on Twitter at GaZcast. Check us out on YouTube, the GaZcast. It's been Young Gabe, Young Zebo.
And also, we had a baseball podcast, and
yes,
it's under construction. I don't know. We did it on this app, and supposed to send us email the copy. I haven't got that yet. I've been DMing them, going back and forth. We'll see. Maybe have to do another one. I don't know, but hey, we tried.
Indeed. Well, that is all for us. We will see you next week.
All right,
We're
y'all.
also going to be hitting some mini pods. We're going to have some friends on to talk about various teams before the playoffs.
Yes,
So
sir.
y'all stay tuned for that. And like I said, thank you for listening and peace out.
Yeah. See y'all.